Yo, what's good? It's D Scaladayo, and I'm here with this UFC 226 analysis and prediction. This is a stat card. Um, One of the best cards in 2018 so far, from the prelims to the main event. But we gonna stick with the main card here. The first fight we have is Gokhan Saki versus Khalil Roundtree. Now, in this fight, somebody's definitely getting knocked out in this fight. We know Gokhan Saki, he has that extensive kickboxing pedigree. He only has 2 fights in MMA, but he's still very dangerous, and he can definitely make some noise in this 205-pound division. And Khalil Roundtree, he's a very powerful striker in his own right. We've seen what he did on the Ultimate Fighter. Both of these fighters are similar, very powerful guys. They both fight very high pace. They're always going for the knockout. They throw everything in every punch. So if this fight goes the distance, I will be extremely surprised. I noticed in both of these fighters' last fights, they both gassed out within 1 round. So it's going to be interesting to see if they make that adjustment in this fight. I believe if they both gas out, if this fight goes into the second and third round, I think Saki will have the advantage because of his just because he's technically superior than Roundtree. And I do think if both of these fighters, if they learn from their last fight and choose to fight in a more methodical, slower paced fight, I think Saki has the advantage also. I think for Khalil to win this fight, I think he has to get the knockout in the first round. And he's going to have to put himself in that danger zone. Because I do think he has the power to knock out Saki. But Saki also has the power to knock him out. For my prediction in this fight, I'm going to go with Gokhan Saki by second round KO. I think he will be able to weather the early storm from Roundtree with his striking experience. I don't expect Roundtree to go for any takedowns. He might, but I think he's gonna try to go for the knockout in this fight. I'm gonna go with Saki though. I think he'll be able to weather the storm, and I think Roundtree will probably gas himself out going for the knockout. And I think Saki will be able to finish him in the second round. The next fight we have Michael Chiesa versus Anthony Pettis. Michael Chiesa, last time we saw him, he was supposed to fight. No, they were supposed to do this fight, but the Conor McGregor Dolly thing happened, and he got rebooked. Last time we seen Michael Chiesa fight, he lost that controversial finish to Kevin Lee, but he has an opportunity to get back, on a winning streak. And Anthony Pettis, last time we saw him, he lost to Dustin Poirier. Yeah, but Anthony Pettis, he has an opportunity to, he's still fighting up despite losing his last fight. He's still fighting up. Mike Chiesa is ranked number 9. He's ranked number 12. So it's more opportunity here for Pettis to break this fight down striking wise. Anthony Pettis is the superior striker in this fight with his kicks, and I just think he has superior kicks. Boxing wise, he's a little bit better than Chiesa. Chiesa is an awkward person on the feet. He's extremely long, big for the division. His boxing is decent, but he does move kind of awkwardly. Grappling wise, Michael Chiesa will be the better wrestler. Michael Chiesa, most of his takedowns, he likes to clinch up his opponents, and that's something Anthony Pettis struggles with. He struggles in the clinch, and he struggles in that close range grappling. So yeah, I think Chiesa definitely gonna want to take this fight to the ground. Definitely gonna want to use his size, clinch up, and do damage there. When the fight hits the ground, both are well-versed submission experts. Michael Chiesa is very good at taking the back and getting that rear naked choke. Anthony Pettis, though, on the other hand, is well-versed in numerous submissions, and he has really good submission defense as well. But I'm gonna still give the advantage on the ground to Michael Chiesa because of his wrestling edge. Yeah, for this fight, Anthony Pettis, he's going to want to keep the fight standing and get his kicks off, but he has to be careful with those kicks because Chiesa will be looking to take the fight to the ground. And Michael Chiesa, he's going to want to drag him down and just wear on Pettis, grind him out. Chiesa, he fights that style that Anthony Pettis struggles with. Anthony Pettis, he struggles with grinders like Chiesa. For my prediction with this fight, I am going to go with Michael Chiesa in this fight by decision. I just think he's going to grind Pettis down. Pettis is a finesse fighter, and he struggles against fighters who will push the pace and stay in his face and just grind on him. And I think that's exactly what Chiesa is gonna do. Pettis, he does has the ability to land that one kick to take you out, but I think Chiesa is too tough for that. Yeah, so for my prediction, I'm saying Michael Chiesa in this fight by decision. For the next fight, we got Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. Got some black on black crime happening. Both of these fighters extremely powerful, hard hitters. This is another fight that's for sure a knockout. If this fight goes 3 rounds, like Derek Lewis said, they should get cut if this fight goes all 3 rounds. This fight, striking wise, I think both are very powerful and both are gonna want to be very careful on the feet because they both have that one shot knockout power. I think Francis Ngannou is gonna be faster, more agile on the feet, and I just think his striking technique is much more technical and crisp than Derek Lewis's. Derek Lewis, he does his best work when he has his opponent against the cage. When he has an opponent against the cage, that's when he really is dangerous. So Francis, you're really gonna have to use lateral movement and make sure he takes the center of the octagon and backs Derek Lewis up. Grappling wise, Derek Lewis is the better grappler in this fight. He has the ability to land takedowns. I don't see him taking Ngannou down. Unless this fight goes into like the 3rd round. He might be able to get Ngannou down, but if he does get on top of Ngannou, Derek Lewis can really do some damage. Derek Lewis has very good positional control when he's on top, and he has devastating ground and pound as well. So Ngannou is definitely gonna have to defend the takedowns in this fight because having Derek Lewis on top of him is very dangerous. For my prediction in this fight, I'm gonna go with Francis Ngannou by 1st round knockout. I think he'll catch Derek Lewis on the counter. I think this fight ends pretty early. I think Derek Lewis, he'll probably throw some wild stuff and Ngannou catch him with like an uppercut or something, and that'll be it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Francis Ngannou in this fight by 1st round KO. Now for the co-main event, we got a championship fight at 145. The champion Max Holloway, he's going against Brian Ortega. Both fighters have been on a tear. Brian Ortega being the first man to finish Frankie Edgar. Brian Ortega, he constantly does it. He's never out of a fight, and he's always looking for the finish. And Max Holloway is extremely tough. He gets better as the fight goes on. He starts slow, but he picks it up. He fights at a really good pace, and that's how he was able to beat Aldo both times. Being able to just be able to casually turn on the pace as the fight goes on. But in this fight, I think Brian Ortega is a well-conditioned athlete, and I think Brian Ortega is going to be right there with him. He's gonna match that pace. Striking wise, I give the advantage to Max Holloway. As the fight progresses, he'll pull away with the striking as the fight progresses. Brian Ortega is extremely tough as well, though, and he just knows how to win. Brian Ortega just knows how to win. He will find any opportunity you give him, and he'll knock you out or he'll latch on with his choke. So Max Holloway has to be careful in this fight. Grappling wise, I give that advantage to Brian Ortega. I think Brian Ortega is one of the best grapplers in the UFC period. Probably top 3 right now, in my opinion. If he can latch on to you from any position. You don't want to be in his guard. You don't want to be in any grappling exchanges with Brian Ortega if you're Max Holloway. Yeah, so for Max Holloway, he's going to have to use his movement, just pick Brian Ortega apart with the striking. Brian Ortega is a competent striker as well. Has good boxing. He rolls with the punch as well. Very tough. Max Holloway is very tough, very good chin. Very crisp technique with his striking. He mixes it up well. He goes to the body. Has very good footwork as well. Yeah, so this is gonna be an interesting fight. I think they're both gonna be there every second of the fight, from the first round to the fifth round. I see this fight going the full distance. I just think both of these fighters are extremely tough. Their will to win is very great. So I see this fight going the distance. But for my prediction, I'm gonna go with the champion Max Holloway to retain his belt by unanimous decision in 5 rounds. I think he'll be able to avoid the grappling exchanges, and I just think his striking is one level above Brian Ortega. But Brian Ortega is perpetually dangerous. He's perpetually dangerous. He won't stop. He has great determination, so he won't stop trying to win, trying to finish this fight. So you can't count out Brian Ortega, especially if he latches on to your neck. But for my prediction, I'm gonna go with Max Holloway in this fight. Now for the main event, we have a super fight. This is a super fight, not really for the casual fans, but for the hardcore fans, this is a super fight. We have the heavyweight champ Stipe Miocic against the light heavyweight champ Daniel Cormier. This is an extremely high level fight. We're seeing Daniel Cormier's return to heavyweight after conquering the light heavyweight division and having the battles with John Jones. Cormier never lost at heavyweight, but he's never fought someone like Stipe. This is an interesting fight. Striking wise, it should be interesting. I think striking wise, a lot of people are giving Stipe the advantage, which I do give him the slight advantage due to his power. Because I think Daniel Cormier, he's fought a long boxer in Alexander Gustafsson, but Stipe is pretty much as good as a boxer as Gustafsson, but with more power at heavyweight. So that's gonna be the difference that Cormier has to adjust to, is the power of Stipe. Cormier, he has pretty much mastered knowing how to get inside of longer opponents. In most of his fights, he's the shorter opponent. He's the shorter competitor in all his fights, but he knows how to apply that pressure, and he knows how to get inside to do his work. We've seen that against Gustafsson and against John Jones, especially in the second fight with John Jones. Stipe has really good boxing technique. He's shown to have really good distance management and good head movement too, as we've seen in his last fight against Ngannou. Striking wise, yeah, I still have to give Stipe the advantage just because he has that good boxing technique, and he will have the power advantage in this fight. Grappling wise, this is where it gets interesting, because in his career, in his UFC career, Stipe has never really faced a wrestler, let alone a high level wrestler like Daniel Cormier. And we know Stipe has good wrestling offensively, but we have never really seen his wrestling being tested, defensively. So it's gonna be interesting to see, because Cormier is definitely gonna test that out in this fight. And we know Cormier, his pedigree, he's an Olympian level wrestler. I give him the wrestling advantage in this fight. I think if he can establish a top game, and if he can constantly land takedowns, Cormier has a really good chance of winning this fight. If Stipe can defend the takedowns and keep Cormier on the end of his punches, he has a definite good chance of winning this fight. For Cormier, I think the key for him in this fight is gonna be his cardio. I think he has better cardio than Stipe. So I think Cormier, he really should implement a game plan where he's trying to get inside, attacking the front leg of Stipe. Stipe has a boxing-oriented striking game. So I think Cormier, he should attack the lead leg of Stipe while getting inside and wrestling as much as he can, especially early. So you wear down Stipe so Cormier can win those later rounds. And for Stipe, he's gonna wanna catch DC and make DC back up in this fight. DC, he likes to pressure fighters. Stipe likes to apply a smart pressure himself, with a distance. So I think he should definitely be looking to back Stipe up, and making him pay with every kick he throws. Every time Daniel Cormier comes in, Stipe has to make him pay, and Stipe is gonna have to defend the takedowns. He's gonna have to defend the takedowns. He hasn't been tested with his he has a 75% takedown defense rate, but it's definitely not a high sample size. So Stipe is gonna have to defend the takedowns and back Cormier up and keep Cormier on the end of his punches for him to win this fight. For my prediction in this fight, I'm gonna go with Daniel Cormier for the slight upset. I think he's gonna win this fight with his pace and his cardio. I think this is gonna be an extremely tough fight, extremely closely combated fight. Both are extremely tough, extremely durable. We've seen Cormier take heavy shots. So I think he's durable enough to last with Stipe. Stipe does have power, but we've never really seen Cormier hurt with punches. I mean, he got dropped at one time by Anthony Johnson, but he really popped back up. Every time we seen Cormier in trouble, it was by a kick or a knee. He's never really been hurt with a punch. I think he can withstand the punches of Miocic. I think Miocic, he definitely can withhold the strikes from Cormier. Cormier has decent power, but he doesn't have that one shot devastating knockout power. But I'm picking Cormier because of his pace and his cardio. I think he'll be able to outwork Stipe in this